Welcome to this day in the life of a £1 million chocolate company. So I started this all from my kitchen table at home. I've done previous videos about when my wife's doing a PhD, we was doing it at our kitchen table, and now we've grown it into a £1 million business. But it doesn't stop there. We're now at the end of the beginning of the journey. I want to document here what a day in the life is like trying to grow this business. Come with me. As you come in the door, you come into this area, and when I first took this over, this was used as a sandwich making place. So this whole area here had crates, it had loads of bread inside the crates, they were shipped out each day with sandwiches for people in their offices, etc., and they'd take them out to them. And in the pandemic, I came and took over this unit, and very quickly I realised this would be a better admin area than it would be used for kind of like storing other stuff. But like a lot of things, it's got a bit too busy, full of stuff, so I'm going to go through that and sort it out. Over here behind me we've got the chocolate room. This is where we do a lot of our grinding of the chocolate, not all of it actually, but a lot of it, and that's because it's quite a loud process, and so I make sure I do it in here so it doesn't cause problems with the staff and they're hearing out the other side. When I come to the kitchen, let me show you what it's like in here, and actually in many ways we are kind of getting a little bit small. So over on this side, this is where we do the making of the recipes. So this is where they're all measured out so we can understand what we're having to make for the day and then measure them in that area. Over here in this section next to our oven, we used to be a cake manufacturer, so we used to do all our baking of cakes here. I'm just going to take you to where we do the chocolate tempering. Over here is chocolate tempering. Here's Jack. Hello Jack. And here's of course the clean up machine. This is where the tempering is done. We then melt the chocolate down and make them into bars. Chocolate, of course, has to be tempered. If it's not, it'll be all chalky and weird. So there has to be the right snap of the bar, and that's a little sort of bit of science really behind the chocolate making. And over here we have Diane. This is Diane who packs the orders. Hello. So the orders come in here. Then she has the bars in front of her, and then here are the orders going out today. But that's not all of them. There's even more in the fridge. Let me show you. Right, it's July 2026. I'm recording this, and generally this is our quietest time of year. When I say generally it's our quietest time of year, in particular we've had a heat wave, which means we should be even quieter. And yet, this is them. So we've got these two trolleys here, plus the stuff that Diane has packed next door. This year has been a real anomaly because we're way, way bigger than our best months ever in the past. Which means if I just had a record month in June, and it looks like this month's going to be pretty close to that as well, although a bit quieter. That's a bit of a shock. That is a bit of a shock, and that's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining, believe me, but it has generated a few challenges. For instance, I've been pulled back into the business a bit more than I was previously because we need more staff, so the team needs to be a bit bigger, we need to get bigger machines, we need to grow this business, and I don't want to be in a situation where we're having to put the brakes on growth, put the brakes on marketing because we're not doing it because we just can't keep up. That cannot happen. So, let me tell you what I'm going to do as a bit of a plan to make things better around here. Now, to keep myself accountable, I have set up this little system. It's so simple, but I want to make sure I document when I'm working in the business and when I'm working on the business. Can't do that backwards, try my hardest. Anyway, it all comes from this book that I read many, many years ago, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Really good book. Some things in there that are not relevant to me and what I do. He talks a lot about like investing in properties and that sort of thing. It's not really my thing, but the whole idea of working on your business, not in your business, is really important. That E-Myth Revisited, that's a really good book as well. And I really want to make sure that I'm doing that in this business. So I'm going to be documenting all the times that I'm actually working on my business to in my business. And if there's more in this column to the other column, there's more in this column than that column, then I'm winning. If there's more in that column than this column, then I need to change it and do something better. See, this is the problem with business owners. We basically are in a situation where we know how to do all the jobs. And that means we think, well, we can do it best. If you can't get someone else to do it, then just do it yourself. And so that means we step into the weeds and we do the do. The problem with that is, though, we're not growing the business, are we? We're just doing the day-to-day tasks that actually somebody else could do. And this is what I've realised as well. If you recruit people, if you hire the right team around you, they can do a better job than you can. And if they're doing a better job, it just means your business is taking off and going in the right direction. So for that reason, I'll be documenting each week on this board the things I'm doing on the business, the things I'm doing in the business. I'm going to add my first thing. This video is definitely working on my business. There's a few criteria. Firstly, it means that you watching it right now are learning about Deliciously Guilt-Free, my company, which means I'm working on the business because I'm making content. It's also leverage, which I love. This means that this video will be working for years from now. It also is something that only I can do really at the moment. Maybe one day I can hire a team of influencers and promoters to make this video go further, to be better than it is now. However, this is as good as I can do right now, and it's not something that anyone else can just do in my place. The alternative would be that I'll be maybe packing chocolate or making a recipe. So let's put this down on working on. There you go. I'm 1-0 up already. Let's see how the week progresses. Right, so one of the jobs is definitely working in the business is this job now, but I quite enjoy doing it actually. So every single order, and I'll just show you the this one here without showing the address. Every single order that goes out has this little part down here which is empty, and I write a little note there to say to the person thank you, because this is a small family business. It all started when I was actually making cake on my kitchen table at home, sending out orders to people and writing a little thank you note to everyone, and I've kept that going even though we are vastly bigger than we were back then. I think it's really important to acknowledge customers and say without you we have nothing, and how much I just really appreciate you for everything you've done to support my business to help it grow to where it is now. You know, just to give you some examples, we actually had a fruit designed, not a fruit bowl, but like a fruit sculpture sent to us recently, where someone just wanted to show their appreciation, how much they love what we do, and that just means the world to me. At Christmas time, we get given cards, handwritten cards. I mean, I don't even send it to my family members, but I receive them from my own customers. So let's just write to this person here. This is Flora, many thanks. Flora, welcome to DGF, Dan. It's not loads of information, but I just want to say, Flora, you're awesome. I'm packing your order now. Flora actually has ordered the very common bundle we do at the moment at the time of filming this. So it's a salted caramel bar. You might actually notice we've actually changed as well our bars. So we used to have them called Keto Craft, now it's going to be called just Deliciously Guilt Free. I hope that stands out on the camera well enough, and that's because that's who we are. But when we used to make bread, cakes, wraps, cookies and chocolate, we used to just call the chocolate part Keto Craft, but now we're moving over to chocolate only. We're going to change the branding just to being Deliciously Guilt Free. So you'll see a lot more of that, I hope. So for Flora, she's ordered the salted caramel, so we're going to tick that off. She's ordered the milk chocolate, so we're going to tick that one off. She's ordered the orange bar, so tick that bad boy off. And she's also ordered the dark bar. Well, let's get these wrapped. Now, I also know that Flora is one of our first time customers, and for that reason she gets a handwritten letter from me. Yeah, I know, not many people get one of those, eh? So, well, if you're a first time customer you do. I write every one of those by hand too. Packed orders is definitely one of these. Okay, I now need to go and measure a dark recipe. So, make dark recipe. So 2-1. I'm working more in my business today than on my business. That is a problem. This is a melonger. Let me just show it to you. So there you have these two stones, and this is going to grind the chocolate to make it as smooth as possible, make it a big dark batch. This goes in today, and the most important thing it can do is not just grind down the ingredients, but also conch the recipe, and that means get air into the chocolate so that the acetic acid can all be evaporated away. This is the mass. It's quite a lot. Let's start pouring it in. One of the machines is not working, so one of the joys of the job is having to jump in quickly and fix the thing. So I've just got my extra kind of layer of covering on, just washed my hands so it's nice and clean, and now I'm going to go into the kitchen and have a look at what's going on. So it's not going through at the moment, and there's nothing coming out of the pipe, so now I'm going to drain the machine. That means basically getting it out the back, because at the moment this valve here, I'm just draining that into a bowl because the pipe seems to be getting blocked. We don't know what it is exactly. This happens sometimes. So one of the huge differences between my chocolate and other people's is that my chocolate's actually way harder to work with. The sweetness sometimes, they get a little bit jammed up in the system. It's not as easy as working with sugar. So for that reason, sometimes, very occasionally these days, you get these problems. So we'll look into what's happened, and get it fixed. Okay, so that is coming through now, which is good. I wasn't doing that a little while ago, so we've got it working. Question is, how can we get that working better? It's not a great flow. What a flipping pain that was, but job done. We got the machine working again, thank goodness. It's just filtering now, so we put this kind of sieve on top. Just get a really good filter. Whenever we've cleaned it, whenever we've kind of worked on it, whenever we've kind of been pumping chocolate through, we give it an extra filter just to be on the safe side, to make sure there's no kind of nasties in there. There won't be, but we just give it a proper filter to make sure we're definitely safe and happy with it. And yeah, that'll be going for about half an hour, that filter. Then after that, we can start tempering again. It's one of the many joys of our chocolate. You know what? So many times things go well and you just get kind of take it for granted. And then suddenly it just goes wrong and you go, what's happened? What's the variable? What's going on? I think it's the heat waves we've been having, the hot weather just changes the way the ingredients react a little bit. And it's cooler today, but it has been really, really hot. So it's probably that. So fixing machine, I think I'm gonna have to say that that is on this side. So there you go, fixing machine is definitely working in and not on my business. Now at the moment, I mean, I've got a great team, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic, but we do need to get a manager, we do need to get some more team members, and I think one big thing I need to do is probably document the processes, document the repairs, so anyone can step in and do that sort of thing, because it's the sort of thing we need to work on. Anyway, let's see what else this day has to deliver. So you may notice I'm not holding the camera anymore, instead I'm just making content with Callum, who's my camera guy, comes in once a week, and we're making the short form content. Now this, I think, is probably one of the most important things as a business owner you can do. This is most definitely working on my business. This video that I'm making to you, but also the short form videos with palm oil and cocoa beans, that's gonna be watched in adverts, on TikTok, on YouTube, by people all over the world. And it will eventually lead to sales and build a community. People get a sense of my business as well. So this is definitely working on my business. Right, come with me. Let me tell you about this generator behind me. This is a bit of a nightmare. So 2nd of February, 2026, I remember it like it was yesterday. In fact, let's add some clips now. Yep. So this behind me is where all the electricity comes into the site, and it's actually me who noticed there's a bit of a sort of smoke in the air as I looked out the door in February. Came out to this part just outside DGF, looked across, and smoke was pouring out of the roof. Clearly there's been some sort of electrical fault inside the box, but the problem was it knocked out the power for the whole site. So this unit, my unit, all the other units had no power whatsoever. Filming this now in July 2026, so it's almost been 6 months already. We still have been running in all that time on a generator over here. This one's pretty good. We have had some issues with it running out of fuel. That's been a bit of a nightmare. Beginning, however, was an absolute disaster. We didn't have a generator. So luckily my landlord sourced a smaller one that kept us going throughout some of the winter. Then we had a large one installed here, we've been working off that, but it kept having electrical faults. So halfway through a temper, oh my God, I remember like March and May time, it was horrific. We'd be tempering, and with the tempering process, it takes sometimes like 40 minutes. The power would just go and then you start the whole process again. So I'll be working nights to try and catch up on what we couldn't do during the daytime. Been an absolute nightmare. But according to the landlord, this is going to set us up with power back on the mains once again. So fingers crossed, next time I make one of these videos, you won't have this here, and even better for us, we won't have that rumble behind us all the time. Right, so that comes to the end of our journey today, and haven't been working on or in my business. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so you can catch the next video and learn a bit more about how I'm growing this business, how to make chocolate, and everything you need to know about the most delicious chocolate in the UK.